Here on Outside the Box Reviews, Predator Week continues, and here we have the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Gort Predator. Or should I say, classic Predator with Gort mask. Design-wise, this figure is nothing monumentally special. It's the classic Predator body reissued yet again. But the main difference, as you can plainly see in this picture, is the biomask. Instead of the traditional mask that we know from the films, we get this one. And while we do see it in the background of Predator 2 and one of the multiple Predators on the spaceship, it is really the original Predator mask design, or at least the original Stan Winston Predator mask design. This mask was the original submission by Stan Winston Studios for the biomask on the Predator. And from what I heard, the studio turned it down because it was too complex. They wanted something more streamlined, more basic looking, which explains how we got this mask. But this is a really cool looking mask, and I'm glad that it was kind of kept around. It obviously just went back to the studio and got reused when they needed background Predators. And personally, I'm a big fan of Stan Winston Studio stuff. When I first started watching a lot of movies and things like that, it wasn't the directors, wasn't the Steven Spielbergs and the James Camerons that I was really interested in learning more about. It was the Stan Winstons, the Tom Savinis, that kind of thing. So it's really neat to kind of have a piece of that legacy here with this figure. First off, we'll take a look at the exclusive accessory that makes this guy special, which is the human head and spinal column. Definitely a neat accessory to come along with him. Any Predator fan will recognize the use of these throughout the series. The spine's pretty uniform in thickness, which I know isn't medically accurate, but it works so that you could actually have the hand at any point of it. And I think it's passable, especially at this scale. And the little tailbone down here. And I haven't gotten around to putting this up next to a human figure to see if it's to scale with it, or if the Predators are to scale, I guess, but it still looks really nice. And it's definitely a piece that will accent the Predator display very well. What I'm hoping is that this will be the first of many, or I guess the third of many, seeing as we already got a Predator and Alien skull earlier in the Predators line. So maybe we're going to start getting some more trophies at NECA. That'd be really nice. And while this sculpt is pretty much the same to the classic Predator, he does feature a new left hand that is open, and you can stick the spine in it. You can carry it around, hold it up as a trophy, all that good stuff. For the body itself, I feel like I'm on repeat mode, so I'm going to go real quick through it. It's been released 4 times already before this. This makes the 5th incarnation of this body being used, once again with just a different head. If you heard me talking about the masked classic Predator in my previous review, this one's a bit different with the paint scheme. It doesn't have that new look to it. It has the same look as the first 3 classic Predators we got, with the kind of lighter colors. The metal's not quite as metallic. It's fine. I'm not complaining. I didn't complain about it then. I'm not complaining about it now. The paint job on the netting is well done. It doesn't have the missed parts like it did on the first classic Predator figure I bought. And all the details there. Everything you'd come to expect. His rubberized armor, his bone trophies, all the same that we've gotten before. Big difference is the hand and the helmet. Got the extendable claws here. Dreads are even the same. The cannon, as usual, you can move it, you can pivot it up here, and it pops right off. I didn't realize going to do this review that this cable here has come off of the armor on the arm, so it will have to be glued back in or something, but not a big deal. As for articulation, he has a ball jointed head. The arms, you can go out and do 360. They really don't go out as much just because of the armor, but you get a good range of poses. You can bend at the elbow as well as swivel. Ball jointed wrist. Rotate the waist. V-cut at the crotch. Rotate the upper legs. Bend at the knee, also rotate. and the ball jointed foot. While there's not much new on this exclusive San Diego Comic-Con figure, he's still pretty darn cool. And it's good that he was an exclusive. It's not like he's clogging up the pegs at retail with people who don't want him. He's got that limited quality to it, which makes him really desirable in that fact alone. He went for about $20 on Amazon. Another thing I love about NECA, they put their exclusives on Amazon. You don't have to go to the con to get it if you can't afford to go out to California. It's really nice that you could just go online, pick them up, barely any more expensive than the regular ones you'd find in Toys R Us or any other store. Honestly, I've seen some stores who run these normally at $20, so it's the same price depending on where you shop. Just a really nice exclusive. And if nothing else, the trophy is well worth it. These being ball-jointed hands, they can pop off easily. So, pretty much any of your other classic Predators, you could just pop this hand back on him, switch it out with this guy, and they can be holding the skull trophy, which I think is really cool. I think it's recommendable if you're like me and you are into the background of the whole Predator movie thing, if you're into the special effects side of it, you want a piece of that Stan Winston history behind the movie. If you're just a fan of what you see on screen, or you're just kind of a casual Predator fan that wants a cool one up on your shelf, you can totally pass on it. It's not necessary. But if you have an appreciation for the things that went into this figure, the things that went into this design of a character, I could totally recommend them for that. And having said that, Predator Week is going to continue a little further. I know by this point we're not actually within the same calendar week as we started, but we're going to keep going because I finally found another Elder Predator, and I'm finally going to get to review him. So stay tuned for that as we close out Predator Week. Stay tuned.